då tror jag att vi är redo. Är du redo?
Perfect.
Bra.
Let's change to English.
Okay. What's up, everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Ola. Today, I have a guest that's been here. He was here 4 years ago. Welcome, Nilsson of Symmetry.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. Hello, world.
Hello, world. Your video, the previous Coffee with Ola video, is one of my most viewed Coffee with Ola videos. And it was one of the first, I think, like Patrick Jensen and a couple before, but you were very early on, back in my apartment.
Yes.
Do you remember this?
Yeah.
Very small room.
Very small room. It doesn't look very small.
No, on
the
camera.
video. Yeah.
The cameras are just so good, you know, fisheye, and but it was pretty small, and I had some really big artists in my room back in my apartment and condo.
This room is a lot bigger.
This room has a lot. I fit way more 4x12.
Yeah, this is like arena size.
Almost. Yeah. Almost, exactly. So I'm so happy to have you back here again. Symmetry has a new album coming now in June, and back then, when we had the previous interview, you were out touring with Meshuggah a lot.
Yes.
So obviously, I mean, if you play with Meshuggah, you have to kind of concentrate on Meshuggah a little bit. So I imagine that Symmetry went a little bit on a hold a little bit while you were out touring.
Kind of like I call it a semi-hiatus.
Yes.
Guess that makes sense. So we never made the decision to not do a lot of things. It was just hard because the way Meshuggah operated was like, we think we're gonna do something in the fall. We're not sure. Like sometimes the time periods wouldn't lock down 100%. So it was difficult for Symmetry to entertain any offers because I didn't know. And
so it was like keep it open for fall, for instance.
And it would been kind of weird for Meshuggah if they something popped up and I couldn't do it, and they had to have yet another guy come in or something.
Mm-hmm. So do you feel that during this time, because how many years has it been since the last album? Was it 9 years?
Yeah, just about.
That's a lot of years. I mean, there has to be been a lot of Symmetry fans, kind of you know.
Yes.
I see you playing in Meshuggah now, but what is happening to Symmetry?
Yeah, that's been the thing that people have been tormenting me with for the last few years. But also I've been super stupid, and the album was written in 2016. All the principal recordings was done in 16 and 17. So it was it wasn't finished. There was still a lot of stuff to do, but it was fairly close to that it could have been finished. So people have been like, when's the new album coming out? Maybe they asked me in 18. And I was in 19, surely. I can promise you next year. And then that year, I'm super serious. Next year is going to be the year of the Cenotaph.
Yeah.
And so I've embarrassed myself by promising too much. But that's on me. I'm gonna own the responsibility for that. So I'm sorry, very sorry, everyone.
Do you feel that it's all on you because you're steering the ship of Symmetry?
Yeah,
I mean,
suppose,
you're the orchestrator of Symmetry. I mean, you are Symmetry.
Promising was kind of stupid, but the actual delay of the thing is also my responsibility. There was a thing at the very end when everything was sorted, the album was mixed, and we had a new deal with Nuclear Blast and everything that was set in place for our grand comeback to happen. Everything was going in an orderly fashion, and then the guy we hired to do the artwork, his mom passed, and we were all like, oh shit, man, take your time, doesn't matter, whatever you need. And then he needed more time, and suddenly it was 7 months had passed, and I could tell that he was in a really bad place, and what were you to do, you know? So finally we had to just be we need to move on with someone else, and he was super sad about that also then. So it was a pretty tough situation. And then we found a new guy, Pierre-Alain Durand from France, who came through and did the artwork. But it took, he wasn't available right away. So he had like some projects in the pipeline that he had to finish. So it was like almost a year more delay from that thing. So
there's a lot that goes into making it and like just logistically release an album.
Yeah.
And if you're like the orchestrator of it all, it's a lot. Like just to get everything into place at the same time. So it's funny to hear that something like that could really like just, okay, the album is done, but it's just that, it could be the pressing of the vinyls or vinyl could take like, because right now we're getting back to speed with vinyl being more readily available, but like back during the pandemic, it was like we had to wait 2 years for an order of vinyl, for instance. But it could really set things back. And
I think the waiting time that Nuclear Blast had was 8 months.
Yes, exactly.
So and they couldn't order, like they couldn't lock in the slot because I think they have like a set amount every month that they can press, like they have a deal with the manufacturers. So they need to fit it in, and if they don't have the artwork, they won't even book the slot.
Yeah.
Like, and that kind of makes sense with what actually happened when the artwork didn't show up. Like if we would have booked the slot, their entire thing would have been like really crazy. So after the artwork was done, and then we had like, so
then you can finally lock in a slot.
Yeah, no, but it's gonna be another 8 months. And
how is that? Just knowing that, I mean, I know because I'm in a band that obviously when I release my own stuff, it's like, okay, I release it as fast as I can. But with the Haunted, it's on a label, and it's like, okay, the album is done, and then you just sit like this for 8 months, I guess, because the album's been done and everything, like the artwork's been done since last year, I guess, and now you're just waiting and waiting and waiting, and everyone's like super excited, but you can't really do anything.
Yeah.
Is that tough?
Yeah, I mean,
what do you do during this? Do you like continue work on the next album, or do other?
I mean, in the case of this thing, it's been such a long time, like that I was working on the album. So like another year wasn't like a big difference because all the songs are already old to me, and now I'm out promoting
your old music.
Yeah, kind of. But it's weird because the music seemed old to me, and I was like, kind of fed up listening to it. But then as soon as the first single was released and it came up on YouTube and Spotify and everything, and I listened to it like on Spotify, I got a new feeling for the music, because it's like I also got to listen to it with outside ears.
Yeah.
In a way, I could see all the comments and
the response.
Yeah.
And it was set free.
Yeah.
Finally.
And I was like, God, these guys get it.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
So going back 9 years ago with Singularity at first, Phase 1, I actually didn't remember this, but we reamped that album.
Yes.
With Jocke.
Yeah.
I was like, because I was remaking my website, and I was looking for like, Discogs or Metal Discog, where it's like listing everything that an artist has done. And I saw that I was a co-producer of the album. I'm like, what the hell was this? And then I remembered that we reamped everything with Jocke through a Satan amplifier.
The Satan, yeah. And we did another amp as well.
It's 9 years ago.
Yeah, I think we did use the Boogie.
Oh, okay. Which one? Like a rectifier or?
Something like that,
oh,
yeah.
Okay. All right, very cool. What are you using on the new album?
I'm not actually 100% sure. I'm 100% sure that it's a neural plugin. It's all plugins.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's the Omega.
Granifier.
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty sure.
But didn't you mix this time?
I did, but it's just like part of the 9 year.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't work for 9 years, but all the years I was working on it, I reamped it a number of times because like I loved everything, came together nicely, except for the rhythm guitars. They always. I'm really good at making them sound like crap and not fit in the mix, and it's so difficult.
And you never get satisfied. That's a problem I have too. Like never getting satisfied with the tone. And I mean, the rhythm guitars is what's the most important, right?
Yes. And I also in an act of incredible stupidity, I recorded 7 rhythm guitar tracks.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was that like in?
It was kind of like a stupid idea.
But is it the same rhythm, like?
It's
or is it like nuances and melodies, or like harmonies, or?
It's like from riff to riff.
Okay.
Like a lot of the time it's the same.
Yeah.
But also sometimes it's like 6 guitars are the same, and then the one plays something else, an inversion or something. And sometimes there can be like one guitar plays the chord and one plays like an arpeggiating thing, and then I change to like they plays the first, and then it changes so the
panning.
Yes, the panning is different, and it moves, and it's some of those things are really subtle.
Yeah.
But kind of nice because I pretty much every metal album I've ever done, we've done 4 tracks, which is also plenty.
It's a lot.
Yeah, and that can be a kind of a mess. And then I was thinking like, I want to have more. So do I want to have a track in the middle, like Metallica? I think they used to have like
left, right, center.
Yes, and the center track probably with a little bit different sound or something. So then I was like, maybe I should do a center one, but maybe I should also do an extra stereo pair. And that's also kind of makes it more difficult to mix it.
Oh yeah.
Because
I always find it more like for every track that you add, it becomes more and more difficult just to track it because it has to be tight with whatever previous take you did, or the tracks that you did. Like one left and right and the bass, that's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Because even at that point, even if there's differences between the left and the right track, it gives a little bit of a living feeling. But as soon as you need to double that on both sides, then you have to be tight with that. So I can't even imagine having a third one on each side and just trying to make that tight.
Indeed.
That sounds like a nightmare, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, no, it was more like it was a lot of work, and obviously like now you can go in and edit stuff. So like if anything pops out and like it's too messy, you can edit it. But also if you have 3 tracks on the same spot in the stereo field and they are too tight, it can be like a little face.
Oh, the face effect,
like a face monster.
Where they, exactly. Where you, but that just means that you're too perfect. You hit the note the exact same and created the exact same sound wave.
Yes.
So that's a skill. I guess that never happened to me, by the way.
Yeah.
But I heard about it. Very cool. So for lead guitars,
the Pliny plugin.
That's what we have right now, actually.
Oh, I'm plugged into the Pliny.
Yes, that is the Pliny right there.
Hello, Pliny. How are you doing?
I mean, obviously the album is. I didn't. I got a chance to pre-listen to the album, and it's just like I can't deny that I'm really inspired by your playing, because you have a very. It's very. So happy, like the lead playing is just so happy. It's so like it has a slight bit of 80s, like Miami Vice feel to it, and it's also very like sometimes you're not sure if it's like if it's a synth or not. So sometimes the lead guitar is basically it's a synth a little bit. It feels like it is a synth.
It actually is.
Is it a synth?
Yeah, my tone is actually I run it through the Boss SY1 pedal.
Okay.
So there is a synth sound that like
a pad.
It's like a lead,
like
lead synth. For people who don't know, it's it turns the guitar signal to a synth sound, so it doesn't transform it into MIDI first.
Yes.
And it triggers pretty quickly, and so I and it also splits the signals. I have one clean DI and one
That's
synth.
what I heard, because I heard like, okay, this has a guitar tone and a lead tone on it, but is it like, are they unison as some guys playing the synth part, or
no?
But
So
it's the actual
so it's all played by me, and then I have 2 tracks in my DAW. I have 4 tracks, but because I do that phaser trick.
Yes.
If you remember that one.
Oh yes, 2 phases at the side.
Yeah. Do you use it?
I've done it before, just to widen the track. It has helped.
Yeah,
for sure.
You don't need to use a lot of it.
No. But then again, like I only use left and right, one guitar and a bass. So it's not that often that I need the room and space. But feel that if you double track or quad track like you're doing, you would probably need help to kind of do that. And I mean, maybe you're not going to quad track the lead track.
No,
it's a solo, you know.
Yeah, so I rarely add like a harmony.
Can you quickly explain the phasing trick, just for people to,
sure,
so they understand what they're
yeah.
what we're
So
talking about.
basically, what I'm doing is I'm using 3 amps. So I split my guitar track into 3. Have the same amp sim. Like you could do this if you had a setup with 3 combos or something.
Yes.
Of course. But I use 3 tracks. So the one in the middle is like a distorted lead tone, but it's in mono. And then I have the same settings on the other 2 tracks that are panned hard left and right. And in front of the amps, I put a phaser, like pedal plug-in.
Yes.
With slightly different settings. So and then you can blend in those left and right tracks, so to whatever width you want to have, and like even just bringing in a little can really.
So what he's Per is saying is you basically have the same recorded track on 3 tracks.
Yes.
One is center and 1 left, 1 right, with phasers before the amplifier plug-in in that sense. So it
Van Halen sound.
Exactly. So it shifts the signal slight bit, giving you a little bit of mystique and basically widens the sound.
Yeah, and I like to keep the phaser settings kind of slow.
Okay.
So
they move slow.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you find your own preference.
No, I've used it. I've used it. It's a great way if you want to get your lead tone to. I mean, it's already at that point. It's almost sounding a little bit more synth.
Indeed, indeed,
with that effect. So it definitely goes together with.
Yeah. So what I did with the SY1 pedal is that I put that on a 4th track with pretty much the same settings. I had to adjust the gain a little bit, but it's the same cab and it's the same all of that stuff. So it's kind of like the same guitar tone, but with a synth input. So it is distorted.
Okay.
So it kind of frequency-wise, it lives in the same realm as the guitar. So that's why it's also like you can be like, oh, something synthy about it, but it's not sticking out like it's an actual synth, like Dream Theater when they go crazy together, or Jordan Rudess when he's like on his own.
Yeah, guitar or whatever.
Well, he plays guitar now.
Yeah, I know.
He plays unison with himself.
I've seen this.
He's leveling up.
Yes. Well, he was playing guitar like long ago, but he was just sitting and playing keyboard on the guitar. I remember seeing that. He was just kind of like moving a lot. But I've seen the newer videos where he's like playing both guitar and keyboard at the same time. Some maniac type of guy. But no, the part about the synthesizer guitar solo, it sounded really cool. It's a new soundscape in a way, and it kind of, that's what Symmetry is a little bit for me. It's a big soundscape, and you have the metal, like really chugging metal, because there's a lot of chugging metal in there, obviously, and growling and all. But then there's the Schlager choruses sometimes, where it's like it's really hitting it off, and it becomes insanely uplifting. Like it's very uplifting to listen to the new album, for instance. And the solos are also like uplifting. It's like I'm out running, and, it makes me go faster because it's real like pushing. It's incredible that you can do this with music.
You should do like a montage of you like training and running uphill and
yes, absolutely,
like before the big match.
Absolutely. But I mean, this is something that I think you have inspired me with, because I like to do this myself and like my solo stuff, and it's very like I try to do some uplifting stuff. Obviously, you do the chugging and heaviness as well, but it's definitely something that has shined into my lead playing. So thank you so much for that. It's real like it. I really.
That's very nice.
It's I have my influences. I have Dimebag and John Petrucci, but I think lead-wise, I think you're probably a bigger inspiration in that sense. And in the later, like Dimebag and the John Petrucci, obviously when I was learning guitar, but now as I've grown older, it's like now you're probably one of the few inspirations to my continuous
holy shit, man.
writing of solos and music. because it's you listen to Fear, then it's like very, very heavy, very evil. But then the solo comes in, it's like it's very. So I just really love your style. It's like completely up my alley, and I just wanted to say that. You have a guitar on you right now?
Yes.
I would love to hear you play some guitar and maybe show me a couple tricks and leads.
I don't have my Ola Englund pick anymore.
Oh, I'll hook you.
I mean, I've been listening to your music, and when I wrote the last album, I wrote it with your pick.
That's right.
Yeah,
I remember.
Because like every time I hear you play, and you seem like a riff-making machine. Like you put in a quarter and it just pours out riffs.
Shit out riffs.
Yes, and it's like every riff it sounds like it could be like the best song in the world.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
So I like.
I'll hook you up with some new guitar picks.
I had your pick and I was like,
it is working.
Try to get into the Ola Englund space.
Awesome.
So now I'm feeling like there's a sort of like a little bit of peer pressure.
Oh, of course.
Pad pressure.
Of course.
That's what I
pad pressure
do to other people. No, so I need to play something happy.
Yes. No, you don't have to. You play whatever you want. I mean, you have a guitar. Great. No, but I mean, the thing is that you're just when you speak with your guitar.
Yeah.
You know.
Miami Vice.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Do you know Crockett's theme?
Oh yeah, I love that one.
I did a cover of that once. Yeah. That seems like you in a way, that song.
Yeah.
So you have True Temperament frets on your guitar now?
Yes.
I mean, you've had this for a long time.
Yeah, since 14, since my first Strandberg.
Do you notice, like, did you play with True Temperament with Meshuggah?
I did it the first tour, I think, and then I went back to straight because we felt that it wasn't like jamming with Morton's guitar. But then we tried going back and we felt like it worked.
Okay.
It's like two different guitars can also have intonation issues.
I mean, the regular guitar is not a perfect instrument.
Yeah.
The True Temperament is better, but it's still not perfect.
Yeah.
With other things still.
Yeah.
So unless you remove everything else, you know, it's still not going to be perfect until everyone is using something that's True Temperament.
Yeah, and even True Temperament isn't exactly the same intonation as a keyboard.
No.
So
there's still differences.
Yeah. But a regular guitar can be pretty horrible.
Yes.
It can be.
Yes.
But it's like everyone has adapted.
Yes.
And people are like, they know that.
They know where the notes are.
Like if I do an F, I'll probably I will skip the third because the thirds are.
Or you you press harder on the first string and less on this thing. Right there, because you're probably overcompensating by pushing or whatever.
So people ask me sometimes, like, if it's hard to start playing True Temperament, and it isn't because it's like you can't really feel that the frets are.
No.
Like if you don't look at it, you can't really feel it.
No, but I think people have the question. That's what I've seen. It's like, okay, how do you bend? How does it feel when you bend?
Yeah,
it feels the exact same.
Yeah,
and I guess it's because they are a little flat on the surface. So going up, like where if you bend here, where the squiggly thing is, that the surfaces are flat still, that you don't really feel.
Yeah, and there's no like sudden increase, like a jump in pitch or something.
Exactly.
So, but you might have to like rethink if you have some strategies to cope with regular guitar intonation.
Yeah, but this is straight. This is not a fan. Oh, there is a fan.
This is a slight fan.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Going from what scale? Do you know?
25.5 to 26.25.
Okay. So very small.
Yeah. So but it's like it gives you that little bit of extra length on the bass strings. Tighten up your rhythm stuff.
Do you still play 8-string?
No, not really. We have one song on the new album, Hyperborean Plains. But actually all the songs were recorded with the 8-string. I just popped off the 8th string.
Ah, okay.
Because I really like that guitar for rhythm tones, and this one is great for rhythm tones as well. But this one has both guitars have Lundgrens, and this one have the modern vintage. So it's it's a great all-round pickup for everything. It's especially nice for leads.
Yeah.
But it's great for everything else, and I'm using the M8.
All right. Yes.
The Meshuggah pickup.
Yeah.
On the 8th string, and it's amazing for rhythms. And I don't really like it all that much for everything else.
Yeah. Okay.
so it's like a little bit for me. It's like a one trick.
Okay.
Pony.
Did you? I mean, you said that the album was done in 2018 or 2019.
No, it wasn't done until I late 21.
Did you bring anything with you from touring with Meshuggah, in terms of like just mindset or like inspiration?
Sure. I did. Musically, maybe not so much, because I had already like listened to them for a long time, so I already like soaked up all the secret sauce.
Yeah.
And some people, since I'm doing interviews all days these days, so I gotten the question. People like have listened to the album and they are like, I can for sure hear some Meshuggah influence. Like you certainly picked something up, and I was like, no. So I wrote this album like like about a year before I even talked to the Meshuggah guys. So,
but people like to think. That's that. Even though it's not true. Sometimes you can play along and like, sure, you know.
Yeah. Oh no, I mean it's all good, and it's nice. It tells me that they have actually bothered listening to the album, and but it. I mean, since Meshuggah is like a band that I really like, and I like back in the day, like Destroy, Erase, Improve. It's like I listen, was probably my favorite band at that time. Like I just worshipped it. So for sure, like there's been stuff that they've done that's in my vocabulary. So in that sense, it's true. But touring with them, like I got to get closer to the music because I had to learn all of it. But it's almost like it would be like an anti-inspiration musically, because I've done that, and I loved it. I loved having that gig, but it's not my music, you know. And before I played with them, if I had some really obvious Meshuggah influence in my music, it would be appropriate. But now when I played with them, but I'm not in the band and it's not my music, if I now would like put some of that stuff into my music, it would almost seem weird, you know.
Like, no, I understand.
Like I'm keeping photos of my ex-wife in my pocket, you know, something crazy like that.
You feel like you're cheating.
Yeah, I mean they will always like be a part of like who I am, and you know, like, and I will always cherish the memories. You know, but so there's something about that. But what I really took away from the gig was like how to do the thing, like how to be in a band, how to run a band.
Yes.
Because back in the day, before I started playing with them, and Symmetry was my main gig. We were a terribly managed band. Because I was like managing things. So it was like I suppose I was the one in the band that did it the best, and like I had the best chance to do it, but still I wasn't really good at it, and I had to tour manage and off tour manage and handle all the gear and figure everything out, so which was super stressful, and it played a part in why this new album took so long, because at the end of things, like in 16, when I got the call from Meshuggah, I've been like super stressed out by the idea of even like doing a show with Symmetry. I cannot possibly do another show. Like I'm gonna like start hating.
You're burning out,
everyone.
basically.
Yeah, so it was a bit like that. So I was like really longing for doing something else. almost like looking up at the night sky and like, dear something higher beings, please help me. I'm calling out to you. Let me play in a band where I don't have to manage anything, where I can
where
just,
you're the guitar player.
Yeah, I just want to plug my guitar in, play a set, then have a couple of beers, and then rinse, repeat next day. And well, the universe provided, because like the next week, a pretty big Swedish band called me that I turned down because it wasn't exactly my music. And then a few weeks later, Nocturnal Rites, which is a band I really like, the classic Swedish power metal band. So they needed a guitar player there. Previous guitar player left for Sabaton, so I was like, I joined them, and and then Meshuggah called me, and the Nocturnal guys was like, bummer, like first Sabaton and now Meshuggah. But I managed to do both Nocturnal and Meshuggah for a while, and so playing with Meshuggah, they got pretty big pretty early on. So I suppose they just had to figure out the business end of things in order to like not keep working day jobs and stuff like that. That's what you have to do, like so they've set things up where they have their crew that they bring with them everywhere, and they have their management, and they have all these things in place that enables them to do what they do and to keep functioning as a band.
Yeah, and it seems like they have the right people at the right place.
Yes.
Like, and just only getting good people so they can keep it a small team, but still, do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're very tight with their whole group. It's just not the band members. It's like everyone, like Kent and drum techs and Judas and everyone. It's a very tight family.
Yes,
I've noticed.
Indeed. Yeah. So there's no big like disconnect between the crew and the band, and I guess that's also because they are exactly at the level.
Yes.
They are, like, if they would grow bigger, then like they kind of need more crew, and then suddenly at some point, like if you're, I don't know, Ghost, they have become so big, so they have like they're touring with a lot of trucks and a lot of gear, and so suddenly, like that seems kind of weird. I have no idea how they run things, you know.
But so that did you bring anything with you into Scar Symmetry now? They just knowing that this is
because coming out of Meshuggah, the record label Nuclear Blast, they had some inside information on what's going on. So before it became official that Fredrik decided finally to come back.
Yes.
That was also like took him some time to finally be like, oh yeah, I'm coming back. Like he was like, oh, I'm not sure, and then he was like, so. But when he came back, I got a message from Nuclear Blast, and they were like, "Are you gonna restart Scar Symmetry? We are super interested," and that felt really good to just like have that, that was like the thing that got me that
extra energy.
Yeah, to just like press export on the final master, and they loved the album, and so I got myself a new deal with them. I got myself legal representation to help me out with the deal, and got myself a new accountant, and I moved up to an LLC, an aktiebolag instead of and all of that, and I got myself a management, a new booking agents, and we built a new crew, and got ourselves new gear and invested a whole bunch of money into it, and so
I mean there's a lot of setup to do, but at least when you have everything in place, then it becomes easier for you. But obviously setting it all up is a lot of work too. But at some point you have to invest into I mean getting that
so now I love doing shows again with Scar Symmetry, because it used to be like just total stress, and I got home and just wanted to sleep.
Did you do the TM as well? You had to go and claim money, and
I didn't have to claim money. So
that's so stressful.
No, all of that was usually handled in advance or by the agent. But there's many things that we changed for the better. So some
Good.
Very happy about that. Yeah.
No, it seems like the label Nuclear Blast is extremely. They're very happy about the new album. They've been texting me as well, about this interview. And it's like yesterday, like, oh, it's tomorrow, right? And like, can we do something? And like, and they now you gave me these from they sent me these the vinyl of Scar Symmetry. That's bribing, by the way. Just saying, no, but I really appreciate that. So they seem very excited about the new album release, and I know a lot of fans have been waiting for it as well. So
I saw I didn't have the new album.
Oh, that's fine. I'll get it.
The old albums.
Yeah, I don't really have that many vinyl. I have a vinyl player, but I made a thing that I'm not going to buy vinyl because I know if I start buying, it's going to become a problem where I start collecting. So I've said the album of the year I will buy. The album I think is the best I will buy that year.
Yeah.
If it hasn't been provided to me. I mean, now these were provided to me, so these are going to be like they're going to be in the collection, but I'm not going to ever buy a vinyl except once a year. Yeah. That's my little trick.
Maybe like I'm going to bring you more vinyls of other things I do, and suddenly I'm going to be the one who like pushes you over the edge.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. I want you to play more on your guitar.
Yes. You don't have a guitar here.
You know what you should do? You should teach me a lick. You should inspire me with a lick. I'll get a guitar. Är det E eller?
Ja.
All right. I'm in dire need of a new trick for a solo. I think I've done all the tricks already.
Yeah.
So what do I do now? Okay, sweeping and tapping. Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
so it's C major triad.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And then you.
Oh. Did you do that? Ah, okay. Okay.
Yes.
Ah, very nice. Do you still think when you're not playing guitar? I remember you told me this, that you walk around and think in scales.
Yes.
And like thinking solos.
All the time.
That's incredible.
Like even when we are talking, it's like G minor 11th. Oh, that's nice.
That must be amazing. Like that even though because I thought a lot about when you said this the last time. I was like, what if I walked around and thinking more about scales and notes, if that would help me? Because it's basically just practicing, but in your head.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen these, where they have experiments where, they have 5 people trying to dunk a basketball, and the 5 other people just thinking about dunking the basketball for like 2 hours, and then they basically have the same ability.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. So, I mean, I just don't know how I can't even think when I play guitar. How am I supposed to think when I'm just
That's funny.
drooling?
Yeah, I mean, I never. I've always been like that, and I think a lot of people are like that, like with like whatever interest they have.
Yes.
And some people are just thinking.
No.
Yeah, no, it can be like you're thinking all the time about your relationship or your work, and like some people are workaholics, so they think about that. And I am a guitaraholic or something, so I'm always thinking about music. There's always some kind of idea of something that I'm thinking of. It's like it's what excites me, and it's my safe place.
Yeah. So you don't get distracted by a lot of things? You know, I'm thinking because there's so much happening all the time, and you know, how do you keep yourself focused enough to just continue with something?
I mean,
like
that thing is the thing that's distracting me from things in the outside world, I suppose.
Okay.
So, yeah. So, like sometimes if I'm talking to someone, like is telling me a super long story that I'm not interested in, I can be like
zoning out.
Yeah, and I'm like, like every 3 seconds I'm like nodding.
G major living.
Yeah, I'm just like thinking about something, and then at the end I picked up hopefully enough little points from the story that I can be like, oh that's sad what happened to little Tim.
That's terrible, actually.
Yeah. So.
That's cool. Do you like but do you think about like exercises as well? Like say like, okay, I'm gonna do my John Petrucci exercise for today, and you sit and think about it instead.
No, not really.
That doesn't work.
No, and I don't do exercises like that.
Okay.
I remember this one time when I was maybe 17, 18, something like that, and I was doing a Paul Gilbert exercise,
Yeah.
the what do you call it, like the inside picking thing.
Yeah.
And I did it for like an hour, and my then girlfriend, she sat up in the bed. Play something else. So I changed it into something else, something similarly annoying, but it was just something else, and she could get back to sleep. But like doing that can be really helpful for developing technique, but it's not so much of a big musical idea to do that things. I rather think about musical ideas, and it's also because I'm always improvising. I guess that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, constantly improvising.
Yeah, and when I sit down with the guitar, that's also what I'm doing.
Okay, so a question: when you're improvising melodies in your head, do you always hear a bass note with this, or like a drone note that you listen to?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm hearing it like it would be played. I'm sort of hearing what I'm playing, but I'm aware of the relationship. So if I hear this for my inner ear, like now this is an A, so this could be anything. This could be like in whatever context. Yeah. But like before I played it, I was thinking of this as the fifth in D.
Yeah.
So then I'm aware that this has a certain gravity to D.
Right.
Like if it would have been the third to F or F sharp, it would have been then the A feels different, right? So
this is just a completely other level of musicianship, in my opinion. Show me another lick. What was?
And you can stay up there for a bit if you want to. You go down in the octaves below.
Yes. Do you look in patterns in that sense, that you're just doing the octave down?
Yes.
In that sense.
Yes.
So you have. Yeah. Yeah. So you don't really have to pay attention to a scale. You just go after you have a block basically that you just keep moving down.
Sure.
In that sense, in that lick.
Yeah.
So, I was wondering what type of what string gauge do you use on the guitar?
I used to use like 9 to 42 and a 56 on bottom, but now I have an 8 on top and a 59 on bottom, since we do drop A.
Yeah.
Like for standard 56 is kind of okay, but 59 is nicer.
Yeah.
And the high A, I love it.
Oh, you have a high A?
No, a high 8.
High 8.
High 8.
High 8.
Yeah.
Yes. Very cool. I also use 8. Or 8.5 sometimes even. Very cool.
Yeah, I like the sound of it.
Yeah.
And also because 9s, the tension in the E string is so different from the B and the G, and if you have an 8, it's a little bit smoother. And I like the sound of thinner gauges for for like high gain
Yeah.
playing. Like if you have 2 thick strings, it's like they are crapping themselves.
Well, yeah, they get a little bit lower mid, like they sit worse.
Yes.
It's almost like they get more chuggy and more aggressive when you have a little thinner, for sure.
And if you have a longer scale for the bass end of things, you can still have the nice tension.
Yes, exactly.
But yeah, but the 8 sings really nicely.
Yeah. Very nice.
Langren, modern vintage pickups.
Yes. And this
very
guitar is available to buy somewhere.
It is. This is actually not the
current
because it's basically the same guitar, but the current one has black hardware, so it looks a little bit neater, I think, and also it has some improvements called the NX improvements that Strandberg did like a year or 2 ago.
Okay.
Like this bevel thing is a little bit more nicer, and the neck pocket thing.
Okay.
Yeah, so some things like that.
Okay, very cool. Dude, Per, thank you so much. An absolute pleasure to have you here, and let's make it more often than every 4 years.
Yes.
And you can come back and teach me some more guitar.
Yes.
All right, thank you so much.
Nice. Thank you, everyone.